Hello, and welcome to another episode of Adamo Baseball, where I'm your host, Adamo. And in this episode, I'm going to be breaking down the New York Mets. That team that everyone says this is going to be their year until it isn't. They've got the talent, honestly, all the way across the board. They've got the talent to do it. They just never really do it. I mean, they went to the World Series in 2015. But that was Kansas City's year. And honestly, the Mets they just can't seem to make it. Their last World Series win was in 1986 because of an error. And the 69 Mets, the amazing Mets, or miracle Mets, if you will, that really was their best team. To date, that is their best team. Like I said, do they have the talent to win a World Series? Yes. Are they going to win the World Series? No. That being said, a lot of their talent is very young, and if they can build around that, if they can fill in those gaps that they have, maybe get some depth, then they can contend for a title. I think they're at least 1, if not 2 years away. So, as always, let's go ahead and start with the lineup. Leading off, Brandon Nemo, Centerfield. So, he's only played one full season, that being 140 games. And outside of that, he hasn't actually played a full season. Now, when he does play, he actually is a pretty good leadoff guy, and for a center fielder, you want that. This actually could be an all-star year for him. This could be his breakout season. Because that 2019 season was not bad, but I just don't quite think they're there yet. Batting second, the player that's got all the buzz, that's got the Mets this year to the whole, we're going to win it all this year. Francisco Lindor, shortstop. And is Lindor a power balancing player? Yes. Is he going to win you a World Series by himself? No. Ask the 2016 Indians. Did he play well on that team that year? Of course he did. He's one of the reasons they got there in the first place. But he's not going to win a World Series by himself. That's the point I want to make here. Though I am glad that the Mets were able to pick him up, because he is the kind of player that they need, especially at shortstop. Batting third, Michael Conforto, right field. He is in the right spot in the lineup. He actually is a power hitter. Now, whenever I think of a power hitter for the Mets, I think of Pete Alonso. But Conforto is also a power hitter, and he has the potential to put it out 30 to 35 times a season. So this could be a breakout year for him. Batting cleanup, Dominic Smith, left fielder. Again, potential breakout season, another potential 30-plus home run season. When I think of a power hitter, I think of someone who can put it out 30-plus times a season. And yes, both those guys, Conforto, Smith, they can both do it. Batting fifth, Pete Alonso, first base. Come on. He broke the rookie record, not just for the Mets, but for all of baseball for most home runs in a rookie season. He won the NL Rookie of the Year award, because go figure he did. He broke Aaron Judge's record. Now, people are like, oh, Lonzo Sloane last year. As I've been saying in all my episodes, that was 2020. Don't ever base a player on 2020. And I was thinking that last year, he had a shot to be the first guy to hit back-to-back 50 home run seasons since Babe Ruth. Look it up. And honestly, back-to-back full seasons, he can do it again. He has the kind of power, and only playing a couple months last season, just trying to get back in baseball shape, which you're used to playing every day. Well, there obviously were some kinks. He's had a chance to work those out in a shortened season. Now he can work out it all. Or now he's got a full season to go back and do everything that he needs to do to get back to that 50 home run philosophy. He may not necessarily do that, but if he hits 40 plus home runs, it's a successful season. Batting sixth, Jeff McNeil, second base. He's got a lot of power for a second baseman. And for a sixth guy in the lineup. They can put it out 25 times. I'm serious. He actually could have a 25 home run season this year. And it will be fully justified. Batting seventh, J.D. Davis, third base. So he was one that I kind of had the... So he's one of those guys... I kind of got a feeling that this guy could be... Maybe there's a chance that he could have, like, a breakout year. Now, if he does, it's going to be just this season. But he could have a breakout year this year, and no one's going to see it coming. Don't sleep on J.D. Davis. I got a feeling, sometimes you just get that feeling about players. I got a feeling about that guy. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm man enough to admit it. But, I don't know. I just got a feeling. Batting eighth, James McCann, catcher. For a catcher, he hits pretty well. He's actually sitting like just below the 250 line, which for a catcher is pretty good, especially batting last in the lineup. I don't count the 9th spot since that's reserved for the pitcher in the National League. He bats pretty well for bottom of the lineup. So, yeah, don't be shocked if the Mets put out a ton of runs this year. And they could break the Major League Baseball record for most home runs in a season. I want to say it's like 207 or maybe even up to 220 now. I lost track. It's an easy statistic to lose track of because it changes every year. It didn't last year, but over the last 10 years, it's been changing a lot. They could break it. Don't be surprised if they break the home run record this year. As far as the rotation goes, it's stacked. Their rotation usually is stacked. Okay, so Noah Syndergaard, a.k.a. Thor, he's currently on the injured list because he got a chipped tooth. I don't know if he's going to be ready by opening day or not. He wouldn't be the opening day starter anyway. That's Degrom. But in most other rotations, not all of them, but most other rotations, he'd easily be the one guy whenever he comes back and is able to be Thor. He actually can, he can move this rotation from being good to great. Because right now I think that they're good. You might even say really good, but they're not necessarily great yet. You put Syndergaard back in there, and yes, they're great. I want to make that clear because whenever I go into the rotation, I don't want anyone asking, well, where's Syndergaard? Well, that's why. That's what happened to him. So as I already mentioned, rotation. Number 1, Jacob Degrom. Not yet, but he keeps going the way he is. He's a shoo-in Hall of Famer. Yes, I said that. He keeps pitching like this for the next 5 years. He's as obvious a Hall of Famer one day as Kershaw or Scherzer or Verlander. So don't sleep on DeGrom. on any given day. They can beat anybody. Second in the rotation, Carlos Carrasco. Another one of those guys that Cleveland was just pumping out one right after the other for a great starting pitcher. He's the next guy that's just moved on to greener pastures, or in this case, with more buildings, with more bigger buildings. And yes, he is a solid 2 guy in a rotation. Bring Thor back, and he's going to be third. Third in the rotation, Marcus Strowman, or Marco Strowman. He was the best pitcher in the Blue Jays rotation for quite a while. If I'm not mistaken, he was on that Blue Jays team that went to the ALCS in 2015 before they lost to the Royals. Again, that was a Royals year. Marco Strowman, he's not a tip the balance kind of pitcher, but he could easily be a low end 2 or high end 3. And when Syndergaard comes back, he'll be the 4th guy, and he doesn't have to be. And if the Mets are looking to make trades to improve their roster, they may use him as a trade chip, not because they want to get rid of talent, but because they need to bring it in and they need to offer more than just a few draft picks. Pitching 4th in the rotation, bear with me on the pronunciation, Taiwan Walker. So I don't really know anything about this guy, hence I had to ask you to be careful with, or be patient with me on the pronunciation. But it looks like he's actually pretty good, especially as a 4 guy in the rotation. When your 4th guy in the rotation is pretty good, yeah, that means a lot. And then pitching 5th, Joey Lucasy. He was in San Diego the last 3 years. He didn't pitch great, but he pitched about 5th guy in the rotation. He pitched good enough for a 5th guy in the rotation that you're not concerned every 5th or 6th day of the week, depending on if you had a day off. So, and plus, either Walker or Lucasy may end up going to the bullpen when Syndergaard comes back, just so that they could add some bullpen depth. That is a really great that is a really good rotation with potential to be great. I think that they're a step down from the Nats. Not saying that because I'm a Nats fan. I'm just being realistic because I don't mind the Mets. I think that they're a step down from the Nationals with Syndergaard in the rotation. I think they're like, Nats are here, Mets are here. And if you're listening to it on my podcast, it's really close. This is the bullpen. This is why I think that the Mets aren't going to quite get there. Edwin Diaz, their closer, he's pretty good. And they got, or I think Trevor May is the other guy in the bullpen that I think is good, but after that, they really don't have a lot of depth. Miguel Castro and Seth Lugo, it's not great. If Syndergaard comes back, they move either Walker or Lucasy to the bullpen. Now, if they choose to do a 6-man rotation, that's up to them, which that does happen. But if they move one of those 2 guys to the bullpen to have like a long reliever, their bullpen has more depth. But without that, I don't really see it. I don't necessarily think that they're going to be next level. I think, as I said at the top of the episode, I think that they're going to finish 3rd, and I think it's their bullpen's just not going to be able to get to Edwin Diaz enough or often enough. They're going to be, I think that a lot of games are going to be trying to outgun the other team. And if they're playing offenses like that in LA or San Diego or Washington or Atlanta, they're going to have some problems. Because, yes, they got a great rotation, but a rotation can only get you so far. When even the best starters, they get through the third time in the rotation, that's when batting averages start going up. Usually around the fifth or sixth inning, starters are hitting that third time through the lineup, and that's whenever they start having some issues, and I think that's going to be a problem for the Mets this year. That could just be me, and those are my thoughts. And if you'd like to let me know your thoughts, you can do so down in the comments below, or you can let me know, or you can follow me on Instagram. So I've got an Instagram working, Adamo_baseball. And with that being said, thank you for listening or watching. Cheers until next time.